all right? And I said, oh, well, I don't know, like 6 months or something like that. He's like, how about 2, all right? So he's always like putting kind of constrained variables on it. So 10K a month in 2 months. So that was the figures first, all right? And when you do the figures first, the figures are the figures, right? This is the stuff that's going to show up in your bank account. There's no emotion involved in this. This is just like, this is going to show up or it's not, all right? It's going to show up or it's not. So the figures first gives you clarity. It's like, all right, this much in this much time. So then you can start asking yourself better questions like, how the fuck am I going to do that, right? So, which is pretty much what I said to him. I'm like, that's cool, you know, but how the fuck will I do this? So then we started going back, we started back planning. So if we go, we map out like 2 months, what's that, 8 weeks? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool. So we start here, this is where we're at. And what we do is we get our dates. So today, what is it, the 30th of November? So we'd put the 30th of November here, and then 2 months from now, the date. So pretty much we want this to show up, and we will do whatever it takes, minus any illegal activity, to make that show up, right? So we started talking about it. I was like, okay, cool. First thing we need to do is we need to think about a market that we can go into. Now, his whole philosophy was a kind of like a Richard Branson type philosophy, in that him and I had very similar personalities, in that we were really good at seeing the big picture and the vision, but really poor at like executing and like getting shit done. Hands up if you kind of feel like that a little bit, right? Sometimes, right? So really good at seeing all the pictures of the puzzle, but actually sitting down and grinding out the work is like a different story. And some people are really good executors and some people are really good visionaries. But he was a visionary, same type of personality as me. So the first thing we acknowledged is that we need to enhance our strengths and outsource our weaknesses, okay? So enhancing our strengths are things like, what am I good at? I'm good at like speaking. I'm good at client meetings and like meeting people and all that sort of stuff. I'm good at anything social and all that sort of stuff. But sit me in front of a computer for a day and I want to shoot myself in the face, okay? So like these, I had to go through and we worked together and we asked ourselves questions and we went through and we sort of identified my strengths and weaknesses. So I was like, all right, cool, we went through that. And then I was like, okay, if we can outsource, let's look at outsourcing right now. Now, pretty much the way the world works now is that anything can be outsourced. Anything that's repeatable, any process, think about your own job and think about how many repeatable things you do in your own job. A lot of that shit you can just show someone else how to do and they can follow the script. It sounds awesome, but there's obviously a lot of steps to that. But that's one of the principles. So most things can be outsourced. So I was like, all right, we asked ourselves another question. What sort of, business could we run that's fully outsourced? Like, I don't have to touch a thing, I don't have to do anything, and this shows up. And so we went through like a list of businesses, and more importantly, we went through who the hell do I want to work with and who the hell do I want to interact with. There's no point in building a business that has a bunch of people who you just hate talking to, all right? Because you're not going to be able to build any good like sales copy. You're not going to be able to build any good relationships, and it's going to seem really fake. So I was like, well, I kind of like just, I guess, other businesses and stuff. I like other businesses. I like, seeing what's going on and what other businesses are doing, and I like, I guess, producing stuff. I like things like, good graphic design and all that sort of stuff. So we kind of whittled it down and we're like, why don't we start a iPhone application production business? All right, iPhone apps, all in the news. Everyone's all over it these days, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right. So we sort of nailed down, I'd like to work with big companies, like here in Melbourne, because remember, I'm broke here in Melbourne. This is where I'm at right now. So I'm like, I'd like to work with massive companies, and I'd like to provide them with iPhone apps. Simple as that. So that's how we kind of whittled it down, asking ourselves good questions. Who would I like to work with, blah, blah, blah. And we whittled it down to that. So I was like, all right, so I'm going to build an iPhone application production business, and it's going to bring in 10K a month in 2 months. Sweet as. Let's get to it. So in the planning phase, what we did is this. Week 1, what are we going to have to do? So week 1, we actually, I flew out to his place in Vegas, and one of his many properties, good on him. Flew out to his place in Vegas, and in that week 1, that's where we kind of defined all this thing. We defined what I call a one key fan, all right? And a one key fan is a little person there that absolutely loves the shit out of everything that you do, like, just all the stuff that, like, the way you communicate, your blog posts, all that sort of thing. People absolutely, like, that company's going to absolutely love it. So this became, even though this one key fan is just one person, I sort of thought of him as like the CEO of those big businesses. So what is that CEO? What is he looking for? What is he after in like an iPhone application business, for example? So we start with the person. We start with the customer that we're targeting always. And we even get down to the details, like how old are they? What's their daily life look like? What sort of things do they enjoy? All that sort of stuff. We get down to that. Defined that, and then came up with our idea. That's how we went into our idea generation phase. I'm going really basic here, but that's how we got our idea, and that's an I, by the way. Weird-ass I. So we got into that. So week 2 was then all about building. Week 2 and 3, we went to build this thing, okay? We knew we needed, we'll put a big B there, build weeks. So we knew we needed like some credibility and stuff like that. So we basically needed a website, right? Needed a website. So in this week here, this is where we built our website and outsourced a lot of it. He showed me how to use things like Freelancer, Elance, stuff like that, how to target the best people on those websites. Hands up if you've heard of these sites, by the way, and it's like sounding, yeah, for me, everyone's sort of on the same page. So we found out how to find the best guys. We found out how to, get great. One of the tips actually is to hire your designer and your coder separately, because they're two totally different skill sets. So we got a really cool designer. And one of the big things he taught me in this build phase was competitor analysis. And that is, so I was looking at all the iPhone app development companies in Melbourne. So I was Googling the shit out of them, looking at their website and getting an impression and a feeling of how a one key fan, how a CEO of a business is going to feel when they land on that site. So one of the cool things that I actually thought of was, I'm pretty good at presenting, my voice recording and all that sort of stuff. So in the build week, what we also did is, so we outsourced the website, we outsourced the design based on what our competitors look like. And we had one key, our one key philosophy was always be the best. Right? It's like the enter with boldness thing and attack. It's like, say you see a website that's like the shit, because you know how you Google anything, one website really gets you, and you're like, yeah, they're the bomb, and the other one, some of them you just go, they're rubbish, right? So our whole goal was be the best, right? Build the best shit. So build a good website. I was like, okay, so let's add some of my strengths in here. Let's add, a video that has me kind of like talking on it and saying, hey, what's up? It's get in a good dress shirt and say, hey, what's up? It's an iPhone app company, blah, 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 right? So I did that. We created a really cool little sales video and all that. So we went into the build phase. Then this phase here, week 1, 2, basically week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, week 4 to 6, that was contacting good iPhone app development companies and getting them on board to be our outsourcers. So basically the setup was this, us here, Tim, and then like you've got the website, right? And me, I've got like, and then like obviously one key fans and customers see this website. And then I've got my little, what I call a freedom team. Okay, so, I've got my developer guy, right? I've got my graphic designer guy, and I've got my iPhone coder guy. So in those weeks, we had to find these guys as well. So, which is very easy, and it's free to do on Freelance, Elancer, all that sort of stuff. So this is my little freedom team here. And so in those weeks, we basically were just briefing the freedom team. And another point he said to me too is for like, for credibility and things like that, it's good to have, obviously, on your site, on your website, a bit of a portfolio. So I looked and I was like, who do I know that needs a iPhone app. So I started just calling around, just in my little social circle and group of people that I knew who would maybe need an iPhone app. And sure enough, there was a couple that did need iPhone apps. So I said, okay, I'll give them to you at developer price, all right, not make any profit, but that would go into my testimonials.